DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is a go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, especially yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show. This masterclass right here, this daily masterclass, if you didn't know, that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is low ticket versus high ticket when we're talking selling. When we're talking what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell it. What are the pros and cons of selling low ticket versus high ticket? So when we say low and high ticket, let's just throw a number out there. I don't know if I have a number in my notes. Let's just say $5,000 is the Mendoza line between low and high. So anything you sell for $5,000 or more is high ticket. Anything that costs less than $5,000 is low ticket. What are the pros and cons of doing each? You can choose whatever number you want. I mean, it could be $1,000, it could be $100, it could be $5,000, it could be $1 million. It doesn't really matter. But what you need to understand is just the overall mentality and just the mindset around how you're going to sell these things, and some pros and cons you're going to run into based on which option you choose. And you don't have to only pick one and be exclusive one way or the other. There are many people out there who preach high ticket is the only thing they do. There are many people who do only low ticket stuff. And there are a bunch of people who do a combination of both, a hybrid. I'm a person who's in that hybrid category. But for all the entrepreneurs, freelancers, or future salespeople wondering what you're going to sell, who you're going to sell it to, and how you're going to sell it, these are the things that you need to understand when it comes to pricing. I have and still do sell, again, both low ticket stuff like books, bundles, high ticket stuff, one-on-one coaching, speaking gigs, business consulting. So there are things to consider on both sides that we're going to outline here today. Point number one, the topic again is low ticket versus high ticket, the pros and cons in selling. First one is the income potential. What I want y'all to understand is that just because you sell something low ticket, you sell a bunch of cheaper priced items, lower priced items, does not mean that you're not going to make money. And just because you're selling high priced items does not mean that you will make money, because you still have to get somebody to buy it. Walmart, for example, makes $5.4 billion a year in revenue. And Walmart is pretty much the lowest ticket big box retailer that you're going to find. All right, that's why Walmart is Walmart. They got the cheapest prices of everybody. They have the most economies of scale of anyone, at least as far as a physical store. Amazon may have them beat overall. I'm not quite sure. I haven't done a price comparison. But Walmart's pretty goddamn good. And they make $5.4 billion a year. Would you be all right making $5.4 billion a year selling all low ticket items? I think you would. Lamborghini, for example, they're high ticket. All right, everything they sell costs a whole lot of money. A whole lot being 6 figures or more. They don't sell pretty much anything cheap unless you buy, I don't know, maybe a Lamborghini hat or a jacket or something. They make $1.6 billion a year. Now, I'm not giving you the 1.6 and the 5.4 as a comparison, like, oh, Walmart's blowing Lamborghini out the water. Listen, billion is a billion. All right, I don't care if we're talking 1, 2, 5. Both of them are making a lot of money. I think we can agree, but they're making it in different ways. And the whole point is you can make money either way, low ticket or high ticket. I came into the game, me as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson, selling programs for $4.99. And to this day, I still offer low ticket, what we call entry level offerings. And there are people, though, who preach high ticket only. All they sell is you can't buy anything from them that costs less than $10,000. And that's what works for them, or that's the way that they want to go. Could they do low ticket if they wanted to? Maybe they could. But what I want you to understand, when we're talking income potential, don't let anyone tell you that just because you're selling low ticket items that you're not going to make money, or you make less money just because you're selling a low ticket item. The amount of money you make is not based on how much your product costs. It is based on how much of your product you sell. How many things you get to go across that counter and get scanned at the register, or get someone to pull out their credit card or go through your payment processor. That determines how much money you make. All right, you could be selling a product for $1 million and not make $1 million because you couldn't sell it to anybody. You made 0 sales. You could be selling a product for $1. You sell 1 million of them, you make $1 million. So you made more than the person with $1 million product, and your product only costs $1. So it's not about how much the product costs. It's about how much you are able to sell it that determines how much money you make. Now, that may sound, for some of you who are seasoned in sales, you may already understand that, but you understand, between me and you, there are a lot of people who don't understand it. They think, well, just how much I charge is going to determine how much I make. No, your ability to sell determines how much you make. And I talk about sales many times on the show, I got a book called The Seller's Mindset, which you can get at workonmygame.com/sell. But I also tell you the people skills that you will need in order to sell successfully. That's masterclass number 393. And masterclass number 337, I told you how to sell. And masterclass number 335, I told you why I'm always promoting and selling stuff myself. And 293, the 6 keys to selling yourself and selling your stuff. And masterclass number 9, one of the first 9 episodes of the show, how to sell yourself the right way. Masterclass number 1608, how would I create and sell products if I was starting out today? I just gave you that one a couple weeks ago. Masterclass number 1594, where to spend your time when you are selling. And I'll give you one more because I got a lot of these. Number 1573, sell what they want, but give them what they need. Point number 2, topic once again is low ticket versus high ticket when you are selling. Another thing you need to consider when you're looking at your low ticket and high ticket offers or items or options is thinking about the customers that you will attract. And there's a huge difference between who you attract when you're selling low ticket and high ticket. All right. And trust me, I know because I sell both. So I know what type of people I attract based on what kind of offers I'm putting out there and what the product actually is. Here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Low ticket offers will bring with them more, first of all, just a larger mass of people because more people will be able to afford it. And it's easier to get a low ticket offer in front of somebody than it is to get a high ticket offer in front of someone. If you're selling something for $5, it's much easier to get someone to even consider it because it's only $5 than it is to get it in front of someone when you're charging $5,000 because a lot of people are not even in the market to buy something for $5,000 even if they want it. But for $5, many more people can afford that. Many more people can see it as realistic for them. So you will bring in more people. And as you bring in more people, let me tell you what comes with that inevitably. More customer service headaches, whether they bought something already or not. You're going to have a larger volume of transactions just by sheer numbers. And what that does is open you up to more things that you will need to handle when you're dealing with more people. All right. And just the volume of transactions means you're going to deal with more transactions. You're going to deal with more. You're going to run into maybe some issues with your payment processors, maybe some issues with your websites. Maybe you had some fulfillment issues. Maybe you got some people asking for refunds, people asking you a ton of questions before they spend $1 because they are penny pinching and they only got $5 to spend. These are kind of things that you run into when you offer low ticket items. Okay. And there's a whole lot of, just think if you had to deal with a whole lot of people over the course of a day, some of those people are going to be jerks. Some of them are going to be stupid. Some of them are going to be idiots. Some of them don't know how to count. Some of them do not know how to read. And some of them act like they don't know how to do these things. And you're going to have to deal with them because you have this low ticket offer. You are going to attract masses of people. It doesn't mean they're all going to be bad. But the more people you deal with, the more chance you're going to run into some of them who are bad, stupid, lazy, negative, whatever, what have you. All right. Think of the type of people you've run into in your life up to this point. The more people you deal with, the higher chance you run into another one of them. Everybody got that. I'll give you another truth, though. When we talk about the customers that you attract based on low ticket and high ticket offers, when you're doing transactions that are, let's say, $5,000 and up, high ticket transactions, you will hardly ever have the type of customer service issues that you get when you're making low ticket offers. For example, when I'm selling a high ticket offer, very rarely, I don't think I've ever, and if I have, it may only have been one person asking for on a high ticket offer, let's say $5,000 and up, asking for a refund, having any type of deadbeat customer who just kind of gets something, but then they'll fulfill their end of the bargain. They try to cheat you out of something. A dishonest buyer who again tries to cheat you out of a transaction without actually paying. Credit card chargeback attempts, somebody claiming that they didn't even make a charge, that they actually did make. 99% of this stuff, refunds, dishonest customers, deadbeat buyers, chargebacks, all that stuff, all those things will happen when you're dealing with low ticket buyers. Absolutely will happen. When I started my first product, a website called hoophandbook.com, it's basketball training programs made specifically for athletes. I dealt with these things all the time. People asking for refunds, claiming they didn't get a product, deadbeat customers who try to cheat me out of stuff, dishonest buyers who try to lie about things, credit card chargeback attempts on $17 transactions. All that stuff happened with low ticket selling. It didn't happen with everybody. It was a very small percentage, but it was a headache. And these are the kind of headaches you deal with when you are selling low ticket offers because you have so many people. It's just the way that it works. When you are selling high ticket, however, you're dealing with more serious buyers. How do you know they're more serious? When I say a serious buyer, the level of seriousness of your customer/client is based on how much money you're spending. Now, you want to know somebody's serious, just charge them more money. All right, you'll find out who's serious and who ain't. Okay, when someone's investing more money, they are a more serious buyer, which means, listen, Even a billionaire is going to look hard before they spend $5,000. They didn't become a billionaire by just throwing away money, even though proportionately is not a lot to them. When someone's investing in a high ticket offer, such as a car, a house, one-on-one coaching, any type of business consulting, hiring a speaker, they are invested. They are financially invested with the money that they put in. They're also mentally invested because nobody throws out a couple $1,000s without thinking about it. Even if they have a lot, even if they got millions or billions would it be, they still think about it before they just throw thousands of dollars away. That's how they got to that position, by not just being frivolous with their money, right? And here's the funny thing about it. People who spend a lot of money, when I say a lot, I'm talking high ticket, let's say 5,000 and up. People who spend that kind of money on things, usually they do exactly what you tell them to do after they have made the investment. They will follow exactly what you are selling to them, exactly what your process is, exactly what you tell them to do. They will do it after they've invested that much money. Why? Because confirmation bias. They want to make themselves look smart by having made that investment in the first place. Therefore, they're going to do everything that you say. Whereas a $5 customer, they could throw away your instructions, not listen to anything you say, buy your $5 product, never use it, buy your $2 book, never read it. Why? Because they only invested $2. So if they end up not making good on their own $2 investment, so what? It was only a $2 investment. But if they made a $20,000 investment, they will follow through on that one because they don't want to look like a $20,000 idiot. All right, anybody can waste $2 and forget about it. You waste $2 on some candy and forget about it. You invest $20,000, you're going to make sure you get your money's worth, which means whatever it is you're supposed to do based on that $20,000 investment, you do it. You won't miss a meeting, or you won't miss a call. You will not be late on your homework or whatever it is that you were supposed to do when you invested 20 grand. High ticket customers tend to be, in general, okay, I'm being very general here, in general, more serious. They are more persistent. They are more disciplined. They follow through much more often. They are much less headaches. They bring much fewer headaches simply because there are fewer of them. So you're not going to get as many headaches. And listen, every one of us, every $5,000 customer is also at times a $5 customer. All right. People who buy high ticket stuff, they still go to the movies and spend $10 on popcorn. So they still make low ticket transactions. So it's not like every low ticket transaction is going to be a headache customer. I want to be clear and make sure you're not getting that impression here. But a high ticket consumer usually is more serious, fewer headaches, and they do everything that you said. So you better make sure your material is good. You're selling for that much. Actually, if it's not good, you won't be able to make a sale anyway. It's a confirmation bias when somebody makes a high ticket purchase. They spent that much. So in their mind, they're like, all right, this must be a good idea because otherwise I wouldn't have invested $7,000 in it. And we're going to make sure that we get our money's worth out of this and make sure that we make it work. Nobody loses sleep over $5, but people do lose sleep over 5,000. I don't care how much they got. So again, just thinking about we're on point number 2 here, the type of people that you're going to attract and the type of mindset those people will have when you've attracted them. That's actually the better way to say it, the mindset of the people that you attract, because somebody can be a low ticket and a high ticket consumer at the same time at different areas and different points in the same life. Point number 3, today's topic once again is low ticket versus high ticket in selling and what you should expect based on who you're dealing with and what you're selling. Point number 3, what is it going to cost you to find your buyers? This is the third thing you need to consider when you're considering low ticket versus high ticket with your offering. I'm going to give you a fact. You can do both low ticket and high ticket selling without doing a whole lot of paid advertising. Now, I know a lot of people who do both low ticket and high ticket sales who do a ton of paid advertising. Basically, their whole business runs on paid advertising and just making sure that they make more money on their transactions than they have to spend on their advertising. That's how they make money. As long as they can make more in transactions than they have to spend in ads, they continue to make money. All right, you can do both without running any ads though. That's the point that I'm making here, because a lot of times people think that the only way they're going to be able to sell their product, especially if they're trying to sell something high ticket, is they're going to have to run ads or they're going to have some kind of fancy marketing campaign. That is not true in the slightest. Now, you can do those things and make sales, but you don't have to do those things to make sales. Low ticket selling takes less time investment though. If I'm trying to sell you a $1 product, it doesn't take me, I don't have to invest a whole lot of time in convincing you of trusting me or believing in my product or understanding that it's going to work if all I'm asking for is $1. All right, your threshold, your trust threshold for spending $1 with me is probably much lower than your trust threshold for spending $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000. All right, for you to give me $100,000, I probably have to invest some time. You're probably not going to buy it from me the first time you ever heard of me. You're probably not going to buy it from me the first conversation. You're going to have to hear about it over and over and over again. You're going to need a ton of information. A ton of questions need to be answered either directly by me before you even ask them, or after you ask them. All those questions are going to have to be answered before I cross the threshold that allows you to come out of your pocket with thousands of dollars as opposed to $1. $1, you might spend $1 on some guy selling some tchotchkes on the corner without even thinking about it. And if it turns out to be some garbage, so what? It was only $1. Basically, you can look at it as you gave it to a beggar on the street. You gave it to a charity. But $1,000, $10,000, all right, you don't want to make a $10,000 mistake. People lose sleep over that. We don't lose sleep over $1. You understand what I'm saying? So I might be on Instagram. I actually have been on Instagram. I see some Instagram ad that somebody posted to sell an ebook for $7, and I bought it on a whim without even thinking about it. Never heard of the guy, never heard of their company. Bought the $7 ebook because they had a good enough ad that it got my attention. If it ended up being garbage, so what? It was only $7. If it ends up great, then I made a great decision. Even if I never heard of the person, I'll do that. But now, if somebody's selling a $7,000 program, now I might have to see their ad 50 times, and every one of those impressions is costing them money. I might read their website a couple times. I might look through their testimonials. I might follow the person for a little while, see what they're talking about, and still not buy anything. And they understand that. The person who's running the ad campaign, they understand this is the investment that they had to make, because all those people like me who look at all their stuff, look at their ads, click on the ads, costing them money, and don't buy, they only got to make one sale to make up for the cost of all those hundreds of people who didn't do anything. For the $7,000 program, again, $7 program, I could buy it off a Facebook ad without thinking twice on the first impression. But a $7,000 program, I need to talk to somebody on the phone. I need to see some tangible materials. I need to get all my questions answered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go through all of that process before I make a decision. Why? Because of how much I'm investing. High ticket requires more time to complete the sales cycle. So somebody might follow you and be in your audience for years before they make a high ticket purchase, but they might make a low ticket purchase and they just heard of you today. I've had that happen many times. Somebody's like, well, I just heard of you in this place and I went and got your book because it was only $9. But if I'm asking for $9,000, you might follow me for 5 years before you buy anything. You follow the difference. Point number 4. Today's topic is low ticket versus high ticket when you are selling. When the market gets slow or dries up, this is something you need to consider, because this could happen based on the things that happen in life that we do not have control over. Generally, when things get slow for your consumers, meaning the people who buy from you, low ticket offers are coming with less financial risk. It doesn't take that much risk for me. Let's say I lost my job and I don't have any income. Listen, I'll still spend $10 on a product. Now, $10,000, I might have to think hard about that. Or I might have to hold off on the $10,000 one. Even though I have $10,000, I might not spend it because I don't know when I'm gonna make money again because I got laid off from my job. You understand? But $10, I can spend that because, again, it's just less money, period. It's just simple mathematics. So when things get slow for your consumers, for whatever reason, whether there's a global pandemic or their industry got hit really hard for whatever reason, or something else is going on in the family, high ticket tends to go first. All right, they tend to lose market share quicker and sooner. Lower ticket offers less financial risk, which are very important. It's very important to offer people less financial risk when times are financially uncertain for them. Also, is an opportunity, another thing, for any of you who's selling high or low ticket, whenever something happens in the market and there's not a lot of money and there's uncertainty, it's a good time for you to buy advertising for cheap. And you can expand your reach for cheap when the market dries up, because nobody's spending money. So guess what? Ad campaigns aren't, or advertising platforms like Google and Facebook, they are making less money because fewer people are spending money because there's uncertainty. And that's when if you have some money ready, if you're prepared, you can buy ads and get them very, very cheap. Now, I'm not big on paid advertising, but when COVID first hit, I was getting very cheap conversions on Facebook ads and Google ads because I knew the opportunity was there. I actually heard it from somebody who knows things. They said, hey, you can get really good ROI on advertising right now. It's much cheaper than it normally would be, simply because there's so much uncertainty. So when things like that happen, if you're prepared ahead of time, you can take advantage of those. Those are just little things that you learn along the way. Now you just learned it because I just told you. Now, nowadays, as I'm recording this, in the fall of 2020, those ads are right back to being expensive again. All right, they're not as cheap as they were 6 months ago. But again, paying attention to what's going on and knowing these things ahead of time so that you can take advantage when these type of things happen. So let's recap today's class, which is Low ticket versus high ticket whenever you are selling. There are pros and cons to each. For anybody who is going to be selling anything, and we are all salespeople, keep these points in mind. Number one, income potential. Both Walmart and Lamborghini are billion-dollar companies, but they do it in different ways. One is low ticket, one is high ticket. What that means is you can make money either way. Point number two, customers you attract. Low ticket offers will bring a larger mass of people, a larger volume of people, which means inevitably more headaches, more transactions, more things you're going to have to deal with simply because you're dealing with more people. But another truth, when your transactions are high ticket, you will hardly ever have customer service issues like deadbeat buyers, dishonest customers, refunds, chargeback attempts. 99% of that stuff is happening with low ticket items. So keep that in mind. Also with high ticket, people are more invested mentally, financially, and they have confirmation bias. They want to make good on their own decision to make themselves look good in their own minds. Therefore, they will follow through with the products and programs and services that they buy and do what you tell them to do. Point number three, what it costs you to find your buyers. You can get either buyer with no ad spend, but it will cost you in time. A low ticket offer, somebody could buy from you the first time they ever come across you. A high ticket offer, somebody might have to follow you for months or years and get a lot of questions answered and a lot of information given to them before they make a buying decision, simply because it is a higher investment that they have to make. So you need to keep in mind, if you're gonna go high ticket, you need to make a bigger investment in information to the consumer to get them to make a purchasing decision. And number four, when the market gets slow or dries up, generally, when things are slower for your consumers, a lower ticket offer offers less financial risk. Therefore, you will be able to continue to sell. High ticket can slow up when financial uncertainty hangs in the air. And on the other hand, however, you can buy advertising to get your name out there much cheaper when there is uncertainty, because everybody else is uncertain and they're not spending money. So if you have some money, you have some resources, you can take advantage and jump into the breach and grab some attention really quick when everybody else is afraid to spend any money, which is what absolutely happened during the financial crisis in 2009-ish, before advertising was as big as it is and ubiquitous as it is now. But even when the COVID pandemic hit in spring of 2020, I was able to even use advertising. Now, I'm not even a big advertiser, simply because there was plenty of opportunity, because there was a lot of uncertainty. So keep all these things in mind when we talk about low ticket versus high ticket for selling, and get the seller's mindset at workonmygame.com/sell. Work on your game. Dre, all